I am full. I'm as stuffed as a tick on a 10-day suck.
Hey, hope everyone's doing really well today. We're about to look at some TikToks for this video, and it's a little bit less edited than some of my last few videos have been, but I just started a few different projects at once, and I'm trying to push them out as fast as I can, so hopefully it's still good. If it's that much worse or anything, definitely let me know.
Hold on.
Okay.
Trying to muster up the I give a energy, so hold on a second. I just can't find any of the cares.
The caption over this audio of one of the Kardashians says, "When fat phobes tell me that being fat is unhealthy, but I've read and reviewed, replicated, successfully peer-reviewed, new wave informed academic studies on how fatness itself is not inherently unhealthy." And they didn't link anything here to be reviewed by others, which is fine because they admitted here that they're cherry picking the studies they're looking at and either intentionally or unintentionally ignoring a lot of other data because they feel really comfortable calling people who have read that data and been compelled by it fat phobes. But the conclusion from most of our research on the subject of obesity is that it's not healthy, and fearing the consequences of obesity or morbid obesity doesn't make you a fat phobe. Not in my opinion, at least.
You know, the most exhausting part of being fat isn't actually being fat. It's just public perception of us and how we're treated. Like, I look good. I got cute clothes, finally. I could go on hella dates if I wanted to. I'm basically just a fine-ass bitch, but, you know, the world just hates to see fat people thrive. Anyway, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go get a snack.
I know this is her life. I'm not the one living it, but to say that the worst part of being morbidly obese is other people, I'm not buying that. That just sounds like BS to me. And I think one of the least productive things you can do for your own life is figure out the ways that your problems are other people's fault. And I know she's saying everything is great, but the quality of most people's lives is usually determined by more than looking good and having cute clothes to wear. And I think that's a big part of why people respond so negatively to a lot of the fat activism we see, because so much of it is appearance-based in a shallow way.
You don't have to be skinny to be pretty. You don't have to be skinny to be pretty. You don't have to be skinny. You don't have to be skinny. You don't have to be skinny to be pretty.
If promoting obesity is what it takes to make other fat people feel hot, obviously I'm gonna do that.
I do want to be fat because bellies are beautiful.
And a lot of the loudest complaints are about attraction.
Yeah, because I totally need to be reminded about the fact that fat people are gross and ugly and no one wants you and you're disgusting and you're never gonna find companionship and you're gonna die alone, and that only skinny people are deserving of love and that only skinny people deserve nice things in life. Thank you so much for that.
Or clothing options not being available.
Are they actually size inclusive? Free people edition. Just kidding, we already know that they're not, but
I had you looking in the wrong section. How could I be so stupid?
And while those are all understandable to different degrees, it's hard for a lot of people to wrap their heads around how those things could even hold a candle to your own health. Even if larger bodies were the beauty standard, that's not the same thing as being healthy. Just like how we realize that models starving themselves to be on a runway isn't healthy either, regardless of how good some people thought they looked. And I'm someone who actually appreciates the body positive content that promotes confidence regardless of your body size.
Also, if you're worried they're gonna think you're fat. If you're fat, you're gonna look fat. Who cares? They already know you're fat. So wear the bikini, babes.
But my personal line is when you start trying to convince people that obesity is healthy, great even, the only problem is that other people can't stand how powerful and confident you are.
I get it. You're angry. You feel ashamed of yourself, and you think I should feel ashamed of myself.
The world just hates to see fat people thrive.
To be clear though, for me, I think it might be worse when the finfluencers in this space are encouraging other people to neglect their health in the forms of really skewed exercise and nutrition advice.
If you eat a standard American diet, you're going to get standard American diseases.
No. No.
The video this intuitive eating coach is responding to is not really my cup of tea. It's a poem, kind of, about health and wellness, basically.
The worst part of this chemical pollution is that it's absolutely unnecessary and offers no solution.
But her whole point, I think, is pretty much let food be thy medicine, and to a larger degree, that food can also be what contributes to our disease and unwellness.
This kind of fear-mongering keeps so many of us in a disordered relationship with food. And I know because I'm an intuitive eating counselor who was once orthorexic, aka a fear of bad foods, exactly as she's describing. But there's so much more to your health than the foods that you're consuming. I'm going to explain why. Stress from fearing these bad foods is actually more harmful than eating the foods themselves.
I don't want to undervalue the role that stress plays on our health. I know, just like most everyone else, how big of a factor that is, mentally and physically. But she's framing this so negatively, like educating yourself about nutrition and practicing self-control can only be stressful or miserable. I think it's empowering to know that you have a role in your own health. It would be amazing if we had complete control, but we don't. So why wouldn't we do the best with what we have?
It also forgets that we have all of these natural processes in our bodies that help to clear out things, to detox naturally. And this is essentially assuming that every bad thing that we put in our body is staying there. So how about we just have this awesome free-flowing relationship with food and stop fear-mongering? Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, and follow for food freedom.
So let's stop fear-mongering, but also if you try to educate yourself about nutrition, you're gonna give yourself an ED. Relying on your body to detox everything you indiscriminately consume is just way too bold a move for me. Maybe she's more confident of a person than I am, but I like to consume things in moderation and use my judgment as the first filter for my body. It's okay to acknowledge that a food isn't healthy and still give yourself permission to eat it. It's a problem to lie to yourself or others about all foods being equal and our bodies not being able to tell the difference in broccoli or a candy.
And this is such a good question that I am actually not the right person to answer this.
But I am.
One of the last TikToks we're gonna look at today is from Jock Scientist, but I actually like this video and I wanted to share it because for me, I just need to find things I like about these creators to help with some balance. She makes content that makes exercise really accessible to beginners. And for some people, just getting over that first hump is more than half the battle. So here she's replying to a comment that Laura originally got from someone who says, "Hi, I just recently joined the gym, but I'm super anxious of my first day being a bigger girl. Do you have any gym advice for beginners?"
Let me validate that being fat at the gym is a very stressful experience. But you have every right to be there. Doesn't matter that you don't have visible muscles or you haven't been going for 16 years. Take up space. Walk into that gym with a plan. The plan could be, I'm gonna get on the treadmill for 30 minutes. The plan could be one of my free strength routines that's linked in my bio. Next, since you should be warming up anyway, hop on a piece of cardio equipment for a few minutes to help you get a feel of the layout. You can see where the equipment you'll need is, where a good place to set up. You'll feel confident if you just know where you're going. And a couple of insider tips since I used to manage gyms. If you want a little more privacy while you work out, you can use the studio where they do group fitness and dance classes if there's no class going on. I promise you won't get in trouble. Generally speaking, the low traffic hours are Sunday afternoons, Friday evenings, and weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m. Wipe down all your equipment, put everything back where you found it.
I'm curious to hear how this advice sounds to anyone who's had this experience being larger at the gym. For me, I felt super anxious the first time I started going to the gym, but I'm a thin person, and everything she said here would still have been really solid advice. I even saw comments that said, just give yourself permission to walk in and walk out the first few times. And I think all of this is great advice for just getting oriented and comfortable at a new gym. And in my experience, most people at the gym are worried about themselves and also surprisingly supportive when you need it. I think if you've been in a PE class as a teenager, then the gym is going to feel like nothing, maybe even nice. We're gonna end with some weight loss motivation. I really like this one because he is still in his process, on his journey, And he says it started with this moment that he went through his hammock.
When I realized it was time to start cutting.
And he has a really nice sense of humor about it. He says, "Achievement unlocked, hammock destroyer," over here in the comments. And I just really appreciate someone who can laugh at themselves. He's lost over 200 pounds total, and he put some of that back on, and now he's getting it back off again. And I think this is just really good, realistic motivation for anyone on a weight loss journey. I'm gonna link in the comments his account down below. For the majority of people, part of the process will be getting derailed and maybe taking steps backwards. And I think if you understand that as part of the process, then you can see how you're still actually on track when this happens. So I'm gonna end it here for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on another video and making it to the end if you're still here. If you like the video, give it a like and subscribe if you're not already. It really all helps so much. I got intrigued by a story I read this morning, so now I have another video topic I'm working on for the channel. And I've been seeing suggestions for videos y'all want in the comments here lately, so I started a list. If you have any ideas you want to add to the list, drop them down below. I'll make a community post for this too. And that is going to be the end for real. So everyone take care until the next one. Bye.